Friends, it's 72 hours since I became the leader of this party, and I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the support and warmth you have given me. And I want to thank you for all the advice you've given, some of it unsolicited. Ed, remember to smile, but not too much. Look serious, but not too serious. And thank you in particular to the delegate who said to me, look, given your reputation, I think it's time to give the red ties a rest. I am incredibly honored that you have chosen me to lead this party. David, I want to say to you, I have always known what an extraordinary person you are. And now you have again shown to everyone else, with the graciousness you have shown since Saturday, and the extraordinary and inspiring speech you made yesterday, what an extraordinary person you are. Thank you. And conference, let me scotch a myth about David and me right away. Some people, you may have noticed, seem to think I might be more left-wing than him. It certainly wasn't true when we were kids. I'll never forget the day I stole his football. And you know, he was so angry with me, he nationalized my train set. That's the kind of household we grew up in. Let me also take this opportunity to thank our fantastic Deputy Leader, Harriet Harman. When I was younger, Harriet, you gave me my first taste of responsibility in politics. You asked me to look after your bag. I was your bag carrier. And I'll always remember our first conference together nearly 20 years ago in 1993. You told me to see conference as a chance to seek new horizons. I spent the first day conference looking for idealism, the second day looking for inspiration, and days 3, 4, and 5 were spent looking for Harriet's coat, which she had mislaid on day 1. Harriet, you'll be a fantastic deputy. Thank you for all you do for this party. And let me pay tribute also to 2 of our longest-serving colleagues and friends of mine who are standing down from the shadow cabinet. Alistair Darling, who kept his cool amidst one of the worst economic storms in our economic history. Alistair, you will always be remembered for the way you steered Britain through that crisis. Thank you for what you did. And Jack Straw, one of the most loyal servants of our party. Jack is Labour to his core, and he's Blackburn to his core. And Jack, I want to take this opportunity to apologise to you for the occasional impertinence of the younger generation. You see, conference, there was this moment around the cabinet table when Tim Berners-Lee, the man who invented the World Wide Web, came and spoke to us. And Jack was quite overcome by this moment, and he said, it's like meeting the man who invented the wheel. And I'm afraid I piped up and said, what was that like, Jack? Jack, I apologize. I gather it wasn't the man who invented the wheel, it was the man who discovered fire. I do apologize. Conference, I stand here today ready to lead. A new generation now leading Labour. Be in no doubt, the new generation of Labour is different. Different attitudes, different ideas, different ways of doing politics. Today I want to tell you who I am, what I believe, and how we are going to do the most important thing we have to do, win back the trust of the country and win back power for our party so we can serve the British people again. We, all of us, share deep convictions that brought us into this hall today. But each of us has our own individual story as to why we're here, and I want to tell you mine. It starts with my dad, who with his dad got on a boat from Belgium in 1940, one of the last boats out of Belgium before the Nazis arrived in his country. They had to make a heartbreaking decision to leave behind my grandmother and my father's sister, who spent the war in hiding in a Belgian village, sheltered by a brave local farmer. Month upon month, year upon year, they lived in fear of the knock at the door. At the same time, on the other side of Europe, my mum, aged 5, had seen Hitler's army march into Poland. She spent the war on the run, sheltering in a convent, and then with a Catholic family that took her in, her sister, her mother, and her. My love for this country comes from this story. 2 young people fled the darkness that engulfed the Jews across Europe, and in Britain they found the light of liberty. They arrived with nothing, and this country gave them everything. It gave them life and the things that make life worth living: hope, friendship, opportunity, and family. And they took hope and opportunity, and they worked hard, and they got on. My dad learnt English, paid his way moving furniture during the day and studying at night at technical college. He joined the Navy to fight for our country, and afterwards he wanted to go to university, and he did. My mum and dad built a life for us here after the war, and I know nobody more generous, more kind, and more loving than my mum, and also nobody more relieved than her that this leadership contest is over. The gift my parents gave to me and David was something that I want for every child in this country: a secure and loving home, encouragement, and the aspiration to succeed. In those ways, my family was just like any other, but in some ways it was different. I gather not everyone has a dad who has written a book saying he didn't believe in the parliamentary road to socialism. But you know, it wasn't a cold house, it was warm. It was warm, full of the spirit of argument and conviction, the conviction that leads me to stand before you today, the conviction that people of courage and principle can make a huge difference to their world. What my parents learnt in fear, they passed on to us in an environment of comfort and security. And there was one more lesson that I learnt from them. We do not have to accept the world as we find it. And indeed, we have a responsibility to leave our world a better place than we found it, and never to walk by on the other side of injustice. Freedom and opportunity are precious gifts, and the purpose of our politics is to expand them for all our people. Now, this faith is not something I chose. It was something I didn't learn from books, even my dad's books. It was something I was born into. And that is why David and I have devoted our lives to politics, and it is why I will commit to you here and now. My beliefs will run through everything I do. My values are my anchor. And I know people will try and drag me, but it is to that sense of right and wrong, of who I am and what I believe, to which I will always hold.